And that was actually...
You got this.
That was all of day one. Or day two. It's confusing. Day three.
Day 3.
Well, it's just so confusing, right? Day one, we're calling Summer Game Fest kickoff. Day two is yesterday. But this was technically day one of E3 itself, the proper event. So I keep getting confused. That's why when I've been writing these stories, I'm like, it's day 3 of this week of gaming news. I'm not calling it E3 when I say that, but sometimes I do, and I get confused too. But yeah, it was pretty cool. A Wholesome Direct was really great. Future of Play Showcase had a lot of... It was short, but had a lot of things that I'm pretty curious about. Radminton again. I will say it 10 more times. That I want to see more.
Yeah, I wish there was more time, honestly, for the Wholesome Direct.
I think
I wish there was more time allotted.
I think it's not so much that they couldn't have more time. I think they just were like, hey, we're going to do this hour-long show, and then they get all these submissions, right? And then they're like, fuck, like, we want to highlight all of these games, so they do, instead of, like, picking and choosing, you know? And so it ends up that way. But I appreciate it, though, because, you know, now we've seen each game, right? And now we can all go and pick out the ones that we're super interested in and go seek out more information, you know, via their social media pages or whatever it is. And the nice thing with services like Steam and stuff these days is that developers can curate a page that has all of those games on them, and then you can just go check them all out all in one go. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. It's just like, for me personally, my brain can't really process information that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like even some, you know, there were a couple that I maybe missed because I looked away and they were just so fast, but also like even ones that I did see fully, like I don't totally have a grasp on. I didn't really have time to write them down or, you know, go to my Steam wish list.
Yeah, because then there's another 2.
Yeah, like you just can't even look away.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I appreciate is there is a already probably Wholesome Games Direct Steam page that has all of them right there on it, and so you can scroll through it and be like, oh yeah, there's that one, and literally just click a button and it adds it to your wish list. So like, you know, it's more about you go back after and like
that's convenient, but like I'm gonna have to watch it again, you know, to even remember which ones I'm interested in, to process them again. And so it's like, if it were maybe a 2-hour showcase... Did she just go behind you? What a brat.
My dog just appeared underneath me to my right, and for reference, I'm inches away from the wall, so I don't know how she got there.
But yeah, so like, if it had even been a 2-hour showcase instead of 1 hour, you know, and taken a little bit more time, they even had like 3, you know, personalities on there to react to the games, except they said like 3 sentences total because there just wasn't even time for them to react.
Oh wow, that looks cool.
Yeah. And then it was like on to the next 12 games. So I wish it would have slowed down a little bit just for my own selfish sake.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing though is for me is I bet they even had to turn some games away. Mm-hmm. And I bet if they said, hey, we're going to do a 2-hour version, they just have more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a matter of, I think they just want to hit you as, you know, with a shotgun blast and have you, you know, sort it out afterwards. It's definitely, I mean, I think they even...
Well, I don't think that's very wholesome.
There's just too much. There's just too many games. Too many good games, too. Bear and Breakfast, I'm just seeing here on Twitter, it has a demo coming next week. That is the other thing is coming next after E3 wraps up is the Steam Next Fest, where a lot of the games that we've seen, even across all the different conferences, will have playable demos. So that's pretty exciting. To be able to see a game and try it out. Especially with some of these ones that, again, like you said, they go by so fast you don't even know what's going on. And then it's like, oh, I can actually just sit down and play 30 minutes of it. Sick, you know? So, yeah. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I agree that it'd be nice to have more of a
What's this gesture?
more time with each game, more of a showcase of each game individually. But I think more than anything, they're just like, here's everything.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like, figure out what you like when you see the 10 seconds of it that you see, you know.
Right. I'm not even saying, like, you know, they needed more of every game, like more content
You're
to
like,
show of every game. Just like a second to breathe in between.
yeah. No, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Then after that was the Future of Play showcase, which again, really cool framework. Really short. Really to the point. I was curious to see, because some of those trailers were so stylized in the way they were presented. Like we were talking about it before, like there was that, what was it, Hellbent, where like it was kind of hard to tell what was happening, and then it was also doing this like fast forwarding thing as it was like skipping ahead in the, you know, in the trailer, almost like skipping to different parts of the trailer. And so I'm like, is that how the trailer was made, or is that because of it's like tying into the whole aesthetic of this presentation? I don't even know. But yeah, lots to love there. Lots of, you know, they said it was a 90s anime inspired presentation, and like not all of the games that were shown are 90s anime inspired themselves. So really capturing a certain vibe for sure.
Yeah.
I'll say it again, Radminton. Show me more. Who do I contact? Give me Radminton.
Nate is thirsty for Radminton.
Then after that was the pretty okay Ubisoft Forward. Again, we already spent a long time talking about it. The one thing we, you know, had to skip more of a conversation on towards the end because of Devolver was like, hey, we're here. Come on, watch. Was the Avatar game at the very end. It looked stunning. Yeah, no, for sure. There's just too much to, especially nowadays. It's just too much to consume.
Yeah.
Literally, we had already watched Day of the Devs, which had what, like 30 plus,
I think,
yeah, indie games that almost all of them we were interested in. Then we had the Guerrilla Showcase, 2 of those now, and those had like 30 plus games in each. Deeply interesting. And then we have the Wholesome Direct with 70 plus games. It's just, it's too much. And it's, I think that's almost in a way also why they show all of it, right? Because they know it's like, okay, look, you're not going to be able to play all of these games. So really focus in on the ones you're really interested in, please, because otherwise you will not touch any of them. We don't want that. Yeah, I know the Avatar game. I do appreciate that you're not playing as a human.
Same.
Do appreciate that you're playing as the Na'vi. It looked stunning. I hope that there's tons of opportunity to just enjoy that world, you know, instead of nonstop action. And if Ubisoft open worlds have done anything lately is show that they do let you play in the space a lot. Immortals Phoenix Rising had like special puzzle rooms and stuff that you could do. Don't know how that would manifest in this game, but I'm sure there's like some nature stuff you could do, taming wild animals maybe. That could be really nice and fun. And give me a game where, yeah, you can fight back against colonizers any day. It sucks they have to be there in the first place, but like I said, I think developers struggle with not having conflict still.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if they were being more creative, like, there could have been conflict just within the world without bringing the fucking U.S. military back into it.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me, but I mean, at least...
Well, hey,
not, like,
who knows?
Them and
yeah.
You're, like, shooting them. So.
I'm scared that they'll have a Jake Sully, that was the main dude from the movie, you know, storyline of like, oh, but I love you, human. You're a good one, you know.
Yeah.
I don't get the vibe there will be. They really did seem to just show there'll probably be a few sympathetic humans that you run into and stuff that are like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry, but they really did paint them as just kind of horrifying villains in that trailer. Like, it was like kind of la da da, and then like dun dun dun, and then like showing them, and then like when the attacks started happening on them, like it was just like portrayed as so violently, you know, oh my god, what the fuck, you know, like it's not. So.
Yeah, we'll see where they go with the story.
Yeah.
The world looks beautiful. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Like, I will love stepping into that world, you know, moving my stick forward, slowly doing a movie walk down into that world while slowly spinning the camera and, like, witnessing everything around me. You know, I'll enjoy that at the very least. Yeah, I have a feeling it'll review pretty well, just on the whole. But yeah, I definitely want to hear like what some of the story bits are and stuff. Yeah, flying definitely could be super cool, especially and that'll probably be a big deal. Like one of the things in Avatar I remember from the movie is just these floating like islands and stuff like that. You know, lots of giant floating rock formations and stuff. So. I'm sure there will be like secrets hidden on those and being able to fly up to them and stuff. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, Naku. Like, I think that's violence being used as a call for fun. You know, like I think they still struggle. They still struggle with getting away from that. You're starting to see a lot more of it, and I think, you know, the balance is shifting from a 95 to 99 to 1% to like a 90 to 10, which is still, you know, not great, but it's, you know, it is shifting. It is shifting very slowly, but it's shifting regardless. It reminds me of a game that Fern and I are both pretty excited for that you can read about in the Tribeca Games Showcase.
I was waiting to talk about it. I have the link already.
The Tribeca Games Showcase article that we put out when it comes to talking about violence in video like violence versus non-violence was the big con, and the developer in that showcase, if you watch that showcase, was talking about how it was actually a hard sell because so you play as this character named Allie. She's like a teenaged grifter who's conning her way across the country to get enough money to save her mom's video store. And he talked about how it was a hard sell to, yeah, that is the American dream. It was a hard sell for him to get people to buy into non-violent crime.
Just like petty crime.
Yeah, like pickpocketing people and lying to people about, you know, where you got this baseball card or whatever, you know. Like that made them go, wait, I can't do that. But they'll also go and play Call of Duty and, like, you know, kill thousands of, just kill thousands of people and, support the military industrial complex and stuff. So it is an interesting discussion, and again, we're seeing more and more of that shift. Games like the Big Con not only coming out but getting the support of the Tribeca Film Festival folks and getting selected by a panel that includes filmmakers and industry icons. It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on moving forward, and I think we'll one day see, a game from a Ubisoft or a game from a big publisher like that really embraces a nonviolent story and gameplay mechanics. Yeah, no, for sure. The fact that, as we talk about, as I joked during the Ubisoft show today, that Far Cry 6 is the first political game ever, because developers are so scared to say anything is political because, that could hurt our bottom line. But, like, at the same time, probably people that don't like, quote unquote liberal ideas being, presented in games, they're not going to buy that game anyway, probably. But yeah, so Far Cry 6 is the one where they actually have said, there was like a whole moment where they released a whole blog post on their site saying this is a political game. We already saw the opposite of that, where Battlefield 2142, I think it is, but just got announced by EA, and it's a game where it's like in the future, and there's like a climate crisis, and there's like refugee soldiers and all kinds of stuff, and they're like, yeah, but it's not politics. It's just, we're here for fun. And it's like, you just said climate crisis, refugee soldiers, like, what the fuck?
That's not fun.
Yeah. So it's an interesting. Again, we're seeing a shift there too. Like, as much as it is a joke, hey, he fucking said they said it's political. Like, they didn't run away from it.
It's just so absurd, though.
Yeah.
Like, for any of these developers to presume that, they can just hide behind a statement that, this isn't political, when every piece of art that you create is political.
Yeah.
And especially, like, that's
With
just a completely absurd example of it.
Like, particularly when you hear them talk about the plot, and they'll be like Far Cry actually, and so the thing that was funny about Far Cry is they did start out saying it's not political.
Yeah.
And then it was like the backlash to that made them go, you know what? Let's change our ways and say it is political. Because they straight up were talking about, we were talking with, when it came to the design of this game and the story, we spoke with Cuban revolutionaries, former Cuban revolutionaries and freedom fighters and had them consult on the story. And it's like, then it's political, dude. Like, inherently. And like, to try to avoid that and they do still try to cater to both sides, because then the trailer's like, look, there's a funny dog in it that can kill people for you, haha, and then just like that balance. You can get a crocodile that comes with you, an alligator or whatever that comes with you and will eat enemies up for you, look at that, and explosions, woo, like they still lean into both sides so hard, and it's funny to watch. Sometimes little existentialist sometimes, but we're all hypocrites in our own way. Knocker, don't worry. Yeah, fun day.
Pretty fun day.
Yeah, it wasn't as like mind blowing as even the Game Fest and Day of Dev stuff was. But there's a lot.
Some standouts.
There's a lot of stuff that like there's a game in here I can feel that will be one of my favorites of the year. You know what I mean? Like, tomorrow though, before we leave you, let's see if I can find a Monday E3 schedule that I can pull up onto the stream. That didn't help. Oh, my eyes. So, let's... Hold on. Oh, no. Messed up, hold on. There you go. So, wait, that's Sunday. That's... Oh. I'm sorry, chat.
Fool.
I've been like a day off all week. You can ask Fern. I was like, yesterday I was like, oh, Microsoft's tomorrow. This will be pretty exciting. We're gonna see Bethesda and probably Halo, and I was getting all excited, and then it was like, oh wait, that's Sunday. So Sunday, we will probably be live from 10 a.m. with the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase to, oh god,
I know.
To probably this show. Like, we'll probably do that because that will have a lot of cool indies and stuff in there as well. Hopefully there will be some nice breaks in there. But yeah, so we have 10 a.m. the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. Expect Halo, expect Starfield, the next big game from Bethesda, the Skyrim in space that we've been waiting for from them for a long time. Maybe even a further tease for Elder Scrolls 6. I really doubt it, but maybe. And then Xbox has a lot to showcase. Naku, I hope we can see you here tomorrow if there's any chance. Please stop by. Xbox will have Halo. Xbox will have they just have a lot to prove right now. They've been jabbing at PlayStation quite a bit over the last few months, and they promised recently that they're going to release one new first party title for every quarter moving forward in the next few years or something. So that's 4 games a year, when they've not released a single exclusive first party title on the Xbox since it came out in November. So, like, that's, Sony's now at 3 or 4 since November, and like Xbox got some catching up to do. But yeah, those are the biggest expectations from that showcase. Squeenix might have some fun stuff. They've purposely pointed out specific things that'll be at the conference, and they didn't say Final Fantasy 16, but everyone's like, come on. Come on. And so it feels like that could be their big one last thing, secret surprise thing to show more of. So fingers crossed. There's rumors that one of the things they will reveal there is a Guardians of the Galaxy game, which could be pretty cool.
That would be neat. I'd be excited for that. Yeah,
a big budget Guardians game, like that could be pretty fun, especially after it's a little worrying because Square Enix also put out Marvel's Avengers, and that was such a flop.
Yeah.
That you're like, I hope this is different.
It would be like a second chance for
exactly.
to get it right.
Yeah. Especially since the one thing with Avengers, because it was this big multiplayer online game, they had to make all the heroes so similar so that no matter who you're playing as, you can, do do specific things. But with Guardians of the Galaxy, you have a specific cast, and so if they are, I'm assuming it's going to be another multiplayer, co-op kind of experience with more of a narrative focus. And with those specific characters in mind, though, like Star-Lord and Rocky Raccoon and Groot, and you can make them each so unique and special to what, those characters are. And that's what I'm hoping for. At 2 p.m., Warner Brothers Games will be showcasing Back for Blood, and that's it. There was, before this week came, there was Warner Brothers Games was on the agenda, and so there was lots of like, oh, are they going to show Batman games? Are they going to show that Harry Potter thing? What are they going to show? And they're like, just Back for Blood, and that's fine, right? But I was like, oh man, they have so many potential titles under that label that just having the one game is kind of a disappointment. 2:30, the PC gaming show. It's just always been a fun show, well presented, hosted by Day9, who's just super charismatic and fun. And so that will be good. Probably some more indie surprises or just smaller experiences, that don't normally get the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 4 p.m., the Future Games show, which is kind of like the PC gaming show, a little less hard hitting, but still we'll probably have some stuff that, a little smaller. Back streets bloody. All right. Yeah. Monday we'll have off though. Just look at what Monday has. Chat.
Yeah, nothing really to get your hopes up about.
There are two things that we might consider streaming. One is on the screen right now. Okay, hold on. One is the Take-Two interactive panel. That's the thing that makes me worried about the panel part. But Take-Two has a ton of games under its label, so it could be so much that could show up there. The indie showcase, of course, we're all about indies here, and indies have been killing it. Mm-hmm. It's short though, so I'm just curious to see what that's like. We'll be keeping our eyes on all of this, of course, but things we might consider streaming, those two, and then Capcom, short Capcom presentation, and they've only said it'll be like updates on Monster Hunter Rise, so new content coming to that, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and like a few other games. So unless they have a one last thing surprise, like we don't know what'll really be there. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Woo!
Yeah, that was a hefty one today.
And tomorrow, guess what?
Even more.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Today, this is even harder of a day to figure out how to write for.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
I feel like a full recap doesn't make as much sense for today.
There's just too much.
There's too much, and also like in some of the other days, it was like all equal, like hit after hit.
Yeah.
This one was sort of like
this is the first
reader I suffered.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the vibe.
There's definitely low lights this time versus
but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, and we'll get something out.
Some
hopefully
updates
before 9 p.m. my goal for today. I am working on some reviews. Like I said, we will have one of the games that was in the Wholesome Direct, the Magnificent Truffle Pigs. We'll hopefully have a review. I'm going to just say by the end of next week, hopefully. I have a lot of what I want to say about it figured out already. We got a lot of other writing to do as well. So, keep an eye out for that stuff. And, we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Excited, Fern?
I am.
How have you enjoyed your first, it's not your first E3, but it's your, first kind of more formal reacting and editing and working the beat here? How you liking it so far?
Working the beat. It's been fun. I'm worried that I'm gonna get burnt out from it by the end of the week.
You do kind of get there, but sometimes like that's why I love that Nintendo's closing out this whole thing, because by the time you get there, you're like, I've been so exhausted by it. And then Nintendo comes out and they're like, look at us, we're fun and we're having fun. Everybody smile. And you go, oh man, that's right. That's why I love this shit. You know,
that'll be nice. And then also just knowing that right after that, the Steam
Game and you get a place.
It's going to start with a bunch of demos for all of this.
Yeah.
Some of them are even coming out like in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, at the end of the game, summer, they'll be out, you know?
So it's exciting.
Exciting times. Well, we're thankful anybody at all stops by for these streams.
Yeah. It's been really fun to have this as an excuse to
like hang out.
You know, we're just hanging out and like chatting with friends about exciting games. And that is really fun and something we haven't been able to really do since the Panini.
And so it's good. I'll leave everybody on this just note, is that this is why I was excited about E3 this year. Because last year they ditched the kind of umbrella event of E3 capturing a bunch of other things and instead went for just, you know, each publisher figuring out when they were going to tell people about games. And that meant there was like a showcase event that was, you know, that each one was smaller than all of these combined, but there was like a showcase event every other weekend. And it was just like too much. You missed 90% of them, you know. It was just like, ugh. You watch the big ones like Summer Game Fest with Keighley and Game Awards stuff. We're super early. It was
like middle of the night.
It was ridiculous. And so that's why I was excited that E3 was coming back and saying, hey, everyone come together in this week. As much as it's also burning us out, right? And we're trying to like, get all this stuff written and put out into the world. Like it helps build this pinnacle of hype and coming to, you know, like you said, coming together with friends and like, let's all watch this stuff together and get excited with what we're watching. And it's just, there's nothing like that experience. And I'm glad that, you know, as much as E3 needs to change and E3 needs, you know, to figure some stuff out, like, I'm glad it's back and I'm glad we all get to share all this stuff together. So yeah. All right.
We got to go have some lunch.
Have some lunch and then figure out what we're writing and then
all of that.
Play some games. I got to play Biomutant now too, because that's my next. I got a review code for that as well. It's been out for a little while, but I actually, that's the angle I want to take, is that they've also patched it quite a bit since then. So hopefully it's a different game than everyone else experienced. But yeah. Alrighty, everybody. Hopefully we can see some of y'all tomorrow. Again, 10 a.m. or so. I'll see you here. Fern, thank you. Thank you for joining.
The classic handshake at the end of every stream. It's a thing now.
That's what we always do.
All right, partner.
All right. That demon kissed my wife.
Or something.
Bye-bye.
So long.